Hey, good Monday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. It's Monday. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid, and we're going to have the chance for some strong, maybe even some severe storms, especially in the mountains and foothills, as we've got a pretty big system to the west that's going to make a run at us. Going to kind of fall apart a little bit as it moves into the Carolinas because it's going to outrun some of its energy. But with the heat and humidity today and an outflow boundary, which is essentially a mini cool front, there is the potential for some strong and severe storms. So let me start with the radar and satellite first, because you can see the line of storms back to the west. It's kind of splitting though. We've got a piece of energy heading down towards the Gulf, another piece of energy moving up into the Ohio Valley, and I'm going to pause this just so you can see the satellite imagery. And one of the things I noticed about the satellite imagery, there looks to be some kind of outflow boundary here, which is kind of a rush of cool air that came from storms that collapsed back to the west. One of the things I'm looking at too is that good old-fashioned thunderstorm fuel. We've got full sunshine. Temperatures right now are generally running in the upper 70s to low 80s. Dew points are crazy high. They're already in the low 70s, so there's a lot of ingredients in place for thunderstorms today. You could see that fuel building. Again, this is that thunderstorm fuel. The brighter the color, the more fuel there is for thunderstorms. It's low-level moisture and heat that will fuel any storms that heads our way from the west. So for that reason, you can see the severe weather outlook today. Huge area of a medium threat from upper in Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Columbus, all the way down to Atlanta. And if you look at our area, you can see the Western Carolinas are in that medium threat, and Charlotte is in that kind of low end threat, which is in yellow. So that's the general threat. Let me show you the threats individually for each potential kind of severe weather. First of all, we look at tornado threat. Pretty low tornado threat. This area in green right here, this is the 2% tornado threat or less. So you can see it's kind of confined to this area to our west. So we're not looking at a big tornado threat here. But remember, any thunderstorm has the potential to produce a tornado. That could happen. But today, it's what we call a non-zero threat. It's not zero, but it's pretty low, so less than 1%. Hail threat today, if you're looking for the probability of hail, it's about 5%. It's not a huge threat, that area in brown. Again, this is 5% chance of seeing some hail. And then let's show you the chance of damaging winds. This is why we're under the outlook. 15% chance of damaging winds, kind of in this mustard yellow. And then this is a 5% chance. So that kind of gives you the probabilities of everything today. Let's break down what's going to happen as this thing moves our way. So first things first, we'll look at the future cast here. I'm going to load it up, and we'll load it up right before your eyes. We'll let it load real quickly. Shouldn't take very long, and it'll kind of show you the progress of that storm, a line of storms heading our way, and we'll kind of time this out for you. So let's stop this and back it up. We'll start this morning. Here's 9 a.m., so that's an hour ago. So we'll start to about right now, which is 10 a.m. We'll go to 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Now, the reason I'm stopping here is because the timing here is probably going to be perfect or imperfect, depending on how you look at it, for severe storms. Because when you look at this, the storms are still over here. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Remember, it's going to be sunny, hot, and humid. So we're going to be able to build up a ton of heat and humidity as we go into the afternoon. So this is 5 o'clock. The storms are still to our west. So this is when they start to move into the mountains. And this is part of the reason the threat is higher in the mountains. The timing is better there because the storms arrive during peak heating. Now, as the storms move east, we're getting later into the evening and we're getting close to sunset. So we lose some of that heating, but not completely. Notice the storm's by 8 o'clock. Remember, sunset's about 8:41 now. So this is about an hour before sunset. There's the storms exiting the mountains, moving into the foothills, and then moving into the Piedmont. This is about 9:13. This is about 10:15. This is about 11:15. And notice they start to fall apart for a couple reasons. One, it's cooler. It's getting into the cooler part of the day. We're at midnight now, almost 12:20 in the morning. And we're outrunning the upper air energy. And just to show you that upper air energy, this is the water vapor loop. Look where the energy is. This is the low that's moving in this general direction. So as these storms build and move away from it, they lose that energy, so they'll start to fall apart a little bit. Now, the thing that can maintain them is like what we saw with some of those thunderstorm complexes this weekend, is if these storms create a cool pool, which what I mean by that is the thunderstorms themselves can actually generate some cooler air that will help drive them, like a pool of cool air that they create from the rainfall, and that can keep them going for a while. But I think right there, if we look at the time frame, 10:15 tonight, general time frame, again, don't go down to the minute. This is plus or minus an hour. Remember, this is all based on tracking this thing out over several hours. So again, let's go through time. We'll stop at 6 o'clock. You can see the storms moving into the mountains right there. 7 o'clock, they start to move out of the mountains and into the Lee area, just in the foothills, down into the foothills in northwest Piedmont by 8 p.m. By 9:15, they're starting to move into the Piedmont. By 10 o'clock, they're crossing over the heart of the Piedmont, pushing into central and eastern North Carolina, and then falling apart. So that's what we're going to see today. The other thing to be cautious of, it is going to be hot. Low to mid 90s today with those dew points. Nasty dew points today. Again, these are the dew points already in the low 70s. And if I put the heat index on here, you can see some of these heat indices are already in the mid 90s or mid 80s to up to about 90. We are going to see some serious heat develop later today. So the other thing to be on guard for is the heat. Have a great Monday. Of course, I'll be posting updates throughout the afternoon. Again, the timing of this is evening. We're looking at probably dinner time or after for most of us.